Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rebecca. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our World Cancer Day webinar. As the course advisor for Transformative Oncology and Postgraduate Online Studies, I'm delighted to introduce you to today's session. So here's a quick overview of the topics we'll be discussing today. But before we dive in, a few housekeeping items. We encourage your active participation, so please submit your questions via the chat box or Q&A, and Phoebe and I will hopefully answer the questions at the end. We'll also address any remaining questions for those of you if they come through to studyonline@manchester.ac.uk. Further unit specifications and pathways will be available towards the end too. And we'll add a link to the chat where you can find more about the course webpage and YouTube channel playlist. So without further delay, it's my pleasure to introduce our Transformative Oncology Programme Director and Unit Leads. Their phenomenal work is the backbone of our programme. Feel free to visit Sam's student experience on our playlist. So welcome to our panel led by Programme Director, Dr. Suzanne Johnson.
Thanks, Rebecca. And hello to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm delighted to be here to highlight some of University of Manchester's commitments to improving outcomes for patients with cancer. Once again, this World Cancer Day. It's an international awareness raising day, and it continues this year with the theme of closing the care gap. We find this a really useful time to reflect a little on the landscape of oncology in terms of research, education, and also workforce training, as the world continues to recover really from the recent pandemic and alongside many other global challenges which continue to impact how these services are delivered. So in this context, we are here to discuss our progressive online programme, Transformative Oncology. We're currently recruiting for September 2024. The programme is designed to really reflect the changing needs of the oncology healthcare and to appeal to the global audience. So it's great to see so many participants here today. Some more details, as Rebecca said, are available at the end of the webinar, and also the links directly to the course information. But just to set the scene a little bit, cancer is a global concern with close to 10 million cancer-related deaths in 2020. There's also huge global acknowledgement that there are gaps in the oncology workforce. It's an extremely complex collection of different diseases, and that's where sometimes the understanding falls short. And it's a field which is really rapidly evolving. Advances in technology, understanding of genetic diversity, etc. So it's a really good time to bring some new experts together. So I'm delighted to introduce two of my favourite colleagues to join us today. We have Grace and Kieran. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, and then we'll talk a little bit about the new units that are coming into this year. Perhaps Grace first?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar. My name is Grace Lipowska-Bhalla, and I'm lecturer in cancer biology. I'm also develop and I'm academic lead for the early detection unit, which is exactly called Strategies for Early Detection, which is part of the Transformative Oncology program.
Thanks, Grace. And Kieran?
Hello, thanks for the invitation to join this webinar. So my name is Kieran Bhatta. I'm also a lecturer in cancer biology. So in my lab, we study transcriptional dysregulation, how this dysregulation contributes to the onset of blood cancers. And we hope that by understanding this process, we can develop new therapeutic targets against leukemias. So I'm also one of the unit leads on this program. So my unit is titled Principles of Precision Medicine. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for both of you for joining us today. I always like to do these webinars and introduce the new academics who are coming to deliver the training on the programme. So it's great to have you both here today. Just a little note about what we mentioned in the beginning about cancer disparities. And this really describes how not everybody's experience of receiving a cancer diagnosis is equal. And there are lots of steps that we're taking, particularly at the University of Manchester, to try and readdress the health inequalities that are present in that way. Disparities in cancer care can, are born out of lots of different things, including access to services or recruitment to clinical trials. And this could be due to missing data points, such as accurate demographics, genetic profiles, which can provide the source materials for any research projects, are often lacking. And also, therefore, any evidence of any specific side effects from treatments, etc., can be missing from the population data. So there's lots of angles that we can tackle within the training that we can provide our future oncology workforce. So first, let's talk a little bit about the new unit on strategies for early detection. So Grace, would you like to talk us through some of the key points from your unit?
So obviously, I'm going to give you a bit of introduction to what my unit is covering. It's obviously, cancer early detection, and it stands at the forefront of the battle against cancer, and it's also the initial entry point, I like to say, in the entire cancer care pathway. And its importance lies in the profound impact it can have on the outcomes of the patient. And this slide actually shows you the main benefits. So the early identification of cancer significantly boosts survival rates and provide access to superior of their less invasive and less toxic treatment options. And this directly translates on improved quality of life and also lessen the financial burden on the health system. And just don't take my word for it. I just wanted to present you some survival data, and this is some 5-year survival rates for the 6 months prevalent cancer, for the 6 most prevalent cancers in the UK between 2014 and 2018. And we can see that across all cases, a consistent pattern emerges that the earlier the cancer is diagnosed, like stage 1 or 2, which correspond with the blue or the gray bars, the higher the survival rate. And unfortunately, as the cancer progresses in stage, survival rates decline, and these are the bright purple and pink bars. So early detection is a multifaceted field and various components coming together towards the common goal of diagnosing the disease at its earlier stages. And to give you a bit of flavor of what our early detection unit involves, I've just sort of brought to this slide the major themes which we are discussing. So first of all, cancer strategies, 2 major strategies, which includes, for example, population-wide screening program, early diagnosis, and the innovative approach of risk stratified screening, which is coming. And also screening methodology, including screening tests and the entire early detection pathway leading to diagnosis of the disease. Obviously, the integral part of early detection is technology. We examine the crucial role of medical imaging in early detection, and alongside the application of artificial intelligence and machine learning to enhance the entire process. And of course, early detection research, it's a big part that addresses early detection challenges and also delivers the latest advancement in the field. For example, new screening tests, new imaging methods, or screening guidelines even. And the final theme is health economics, so evaluating early detection initiative, whether is early detection really cost effective. I'm not sure, Sus, here, would you like me to also highlight the disparities at this point, or this will be something which we discuss later?
Please go ahead.
So, yeah, I will continue, yeah. So our early detection unit seamlessly integrates these aspects, all these aspects which are presented on this slide, to provide a comprehensive understanding on the field. And now, as Sus already mentioned, there are disparities in cancer care, and this also is true for cancer early detection. It's not any exemptions in here, and the disparities actually exist across all of these aspects, which you can see here on this slide. And just to give you a few examples. So first of all, in terms of cancer strategies, there is there are solutions and strategies lacking for low resource setting, particularly for countries with medium and low incomes. In case of methodology, for example, there is a growing need for more acceptable and inclusive screening tests. For example, for cervical cancer to enhance participation, especially of certainly underrepresented groups. In terms of technology, for example, the main challenge would be just to make the technology accessible and affordable for all, not only for high resource setting, but also for the low resource setting health system. And in research, it is important that early detection research equally addresses the research priorities of diverse ethnic groups in the early detection detection field, especially those that are underrepresented. And the latest advancements in early detection should also be both feasible and affordable to straight away find the application for the screening and for cancer diagnosis. And finally, there is a significant gap in the availability of adequate resources, particularly in low-income countries. So this is in the context of health economics. So as you can see, the challenges are multiple, and it's just sort of, up to us how we approach them and how we really contribute as educators to ideas and to the approach of closing these gaps. So how does the Transformative Oncology program, as well as the early detection unit within this program, contribute to closing the gaps in cancer care? So here, the University of Manchester, we stand as a world-class leaders in cancer education, cancer research, and cancer focus. So our main contribution is just to we train the future expert and leaders in cancer and oncology. And I would like give you a little of flavor, how are we doing it, just based on my unit. So first of all, we deliver cutting edge knowledge, yes, which incorporating the latest advancement, research and best practices in cancer and early detection. And we support the development of essential skills, empowering our learners to drive change and innovation in the field. And perhaps the most important aspect is that in our materials, we integrate case studies. These are real-world case studies to enhance practical knowledge and provide insight into complex scenarios. And very often, our students are requested to identify, for example, within their own region, on country setting, these challenges and work towards, proposing some solution. And we also provide very dynamic and stimulating learning environment that foster active participation, collaboration, and engagement. And our students have numerous opportunities to apply their theoretical knowledge in practical scenarios, propose these solutions, and receive valuable feedback in it. And the next step is only just to apply it in their professional settings. So in essence, it's like equipping our students with a map, which represents the knowledge, and the compass reflecting to the skills they are developing on our program, and to navigate towards their destination. So we are committed to preparing future experts and leaders in cancer and oncology who are not only aware of these disparities and gaps in cancer care, but also well equipped to address them efficiently. Thank you.
Fantastic, thanks Grace. And you've really epitomised everything that represents the programme, actually, just drawing on all of those key points there. Really love your analogy, by the way, of the map and the compass. That's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, the purpose of transformative oncology really is to be able to harness our experts here in Manchester. So we are world leaders in the research in cancer in Manchester, and what we can do through the programme is bring their voices directly to help learn about the discoveries and the decision making that's made that underpins a lot of the different work that's done here in Manchester, and use those really as exemplars. But by discussing those and with the Manchester flavour, our students are already reporting that they're able to integrate their learning directly into their current practice. So they're changing policy in their workplace already, or they're you know, changing the way they approach some of their activities in their current roles, which is fantastic to hear. And it appeals also, the teaching across the programme appeals also not just to the clinical aspect, but also to the scientists. So, you know, for example, if you're medically trained and you're interested in pursuing a career as a clinical academic, conducting research, for example, you'll really benefit from the understanding of some of the basic science methodologies that can help you to plan projects or write grant proposals, and also conduct any investigations that you wish to. And equally, if you're intending to pursue a sort of translational research or develop diagnostic platforms, for example, the content of this programme is hugely enriching because it helps to understand and appreciate the potential clinical application or impact of your discoveries and experiments and investigations. So it really does bring the evidence of the synergy between science and medicine. So Grace, I wonder if just, I know we've only got you for a few minutes, so I'm keen to give you some more airtime. Just maybe hone in on one example of something of an early detection strategy that started off quite small in Manchester, but has been rolled out actually countrywide, is the lung cancer screening. I wonder if you want to talk a little bit about that, just to give a taste.
Yeah, absolutely. I can give some overview of this. So, you know, we in Manchester are very special, and we are taking pride in doing things differently in here. And one example is just our lung screening program, which actually started in Manchester, but now is sort of, you know, taking part in other parts of the country, with the ultimate aim running in nationwide very soon. So what is very interesting and innovative about this program, that it's just bringing the cancer screening to the communities, just trying to close the gap on the participation, just bringing it just into the heart of community. And this program also, you know, when you do some research, you might find it as scans in vans in supermarket car parks. So this is just the headline for this program, but it's obviously just became very successful, and it is hoped that will bring the change and really close the gap on the participation and the fight against the lung cancer.
Exactly, and it was such a great observation and an idea for this particular screening program. So this involved the evidence coming through that, you know, sort of middle-aged men were not turning up for screening, they were not going to the doctors, they were not engaging with primary care services, even if they had a cough. So they actually established these vans in supermarket car parks, because the other evidence was that you know, the members of the family were going to do the shopping, whereas the husbands might wait in the car sometimes, and actually having the vans there, accessible, available at a time where they're already in that location, has encouraged people to engage with that screening. And actually the statistics coming out at the end of that are really encouraging. So it's a great example of how you know, working multidisciplinary teams together, looking at the sort of health research data, looking at the community, engaging and taking the screening services directly to them to try and, you know, reduce some of these barriers to healthcare that we are hearing from. So yeah, it's a great example, Grace, and it's one example where, you know, because I know you teach about it in the unit, that some of our students can take the philosophy and can take the exemplar and look at ways to do a similar approach, what would work in their home countries or within their healthcare system in their countries, and see if they can implement something similar. So it's a great opportunity to learn from the experts here. So thank you so much for that. I realise, so Grace is very much in demand today, so she needs to go off and teach some important students some other topics as well. So we're going to say a huge thank you to Grace, unless there's anything else you'd like to contribute before you go.
Maybe one thing I wanted to add up, that obviously, you know, the examples like with the cancer screening program, we have many more in the Manchester, and I proudly, you know, presented as a case studies in the unit. And as Sus rightly said, you know, this is the inspiration with our student can also, you know, take with them and apply it with modification to their own settings. So I think that overall the program is very, you know, hands-on case study and research driven. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Grace. So yeah, but shall we bring Kiran into the conversation now? So Kiran is our unit lead for our Principles of Personalised Medicine. Nearly forgot the title then. So yeah, would you like to talk us through your unit, Kiran?
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, as was mentioned, so I lead a unit titled Principles of Precision Medicine. So you might be like thinking, okay, it's just a trendy term, it's a buzzword, but is it really a buzzword? Yes, it was a buzzword 10 years ago, but now it has become an integral part of healthcare for cancer treatment. So what is precision medicine? So in simple terms, it means treating the right patient with the right drug, right dose at the right time. So you may know this one size fits all approach for cancer treatment, like chemotherapy or radiotherapy. It doesn't benefit everyone. It benefits some people, but it doesn't benefit everyone. So precision medicine takes a personalized approach. So you tailor treatments to individual patients based on their unique characteristics. It could be the genes, the gene expression, or the proteome, lifestyle, or even ethnicity. So you may have come across a term called personalized medicine. So, and you must be wondering how this personalized medicine is different from precision medicine. So they're not really two different approaches, they're quite similar. However, precision medicine considers population-based studies, epidemiological data, and this is how precision medicine is kind of superior to personalized medicine, because here you're trying to achieve equity in healthcare. So that's what this World Cancer Day is all about. So what you will learn by taking this unit is as follows. So first, you will understand the basic principles of precision medicine. So how is it different from traditional evidence-based medicine? And you will understand this by going through some specific examples, because that's the best way to understand a new topic. And of course, precision medicine entirely relies on understanding the tumors better. I mean, basically the molecular characterization of the tumors. So you will learn different types of methodologies that are available to study tumors. It could be the genomics, transcriptomics, epigenomics, proteomics. There are several omics. So you will learn the basics of all these omics technologies. And then how these omics technologies have helped at every step of cancer care. Again, that includes the diagnosis of cancers, prognosis, predicting the right treatment, or predicting disease relapse, so those kind of things. And of course, the molecular characterization, these different types of omics produces lots and lots of data. Okay, and it's difficult to analyze all of this data. So you will learn about the value of artificial intelligence and machine learning approaches to identify biomarkers that predict drug response. Again, studying tumors alone by doing all these omics not necessarily gives you a drug that you can use to treat patients. So you will learn about different types of methods to screen drugs. It's what we call precision drug screening. either it's organoid models, or the ex vivo cultures, or the patient-derived xenografts, how we can use these models to select a drug for a patient. So, I mean, while the potential of this approach is great, its benefits are often enjoyed by few. Is mostly people who are surrounding these big healthcare facilities. So you learn about basically why is this case and what we can do to make sure that these benefits are reaped by all, but not by a privileged few. I mean, at the end, you will also learn about the latest breakthroughs in precision oncology field, and the future potential of these this type of approach. So yeah, so that's what is briefly covered in this unit. Do you want me to cover? Are you gonna ask like how basically precision medicine?
How are we doing it all? Yeah, question really. So personalized medicine, it's a great, it offers great strides towards that personal therapy, and new and more focused treatments for patients. But we are still very much learning how, who, and when all of this can be best implemented. So I suppose my challenging question would be, how close are we to developing personalized therapies for different cancer types? Because cancer is an umbrella of different types of diseases. So it's certainly not a blood test down your local pharmacy and it's all done. How close are we?
Yes, again, you answered the question partly. It depends on the cancer type and the molecular complexity of cancer. I mean, some of you might know this monogenic disease like chronic myeloid leukemia, which is driven by just one chromosomal translocation. It's Philadelphia chromosome, as famously known. And precision medicine works wonders in these kind of cancers because, it was considered a deadly disease in 1990s, but now it's just a chronic disease. People live with it for decades. And the same is true for HER2 positive breast cancer or BRAF mutant melanoma. But for cancers like pancreatic cancer, we're still far from right treatment. Although we know about its genomics, we know about the transcriptomics, we know the proteome makeup, we even understand the tumor microenvironment, but still the treatment for these patients isn't great, and the prognosis isn't great. So this goes to say that the molecular characterization alone is insufficient in designing personalized medicine approaches, and sometimes this omics data produces lots and lots of actionable targets, right? So it's difficult to pinpoint one drug that provides benefit to the cancer patients. So that's why precision drug screening methods can be useful. Yeah, and of course we need new biomarkers that predict like who responds to this particular treatment and who do not respond. Even in those trials which are based on the molecular characterization of the tumors, again, few patients benefit. And how do we translate these things from clinical settings to in general healthcare? Because all these clinical trials are done by these again big healthcare centers. How can we make sure that these clinical trials can be implemented in regular healthcare settings? So that is one of the challenge. So are we there yet? Not quite. No. But like any good puzzle solver, we're making progress piece by piece. We're learning more about cancer's unique puzzles and developing better tools and working on making them accessible to everyone. So it's an exciting journey. And with continued effort, we can hopefully solve the puzzle of cancer for many more people.
Absolutely. And it's really important to say, isn't it, that the advance in technology over the last 20 years, even since the human genome was first sequenced, which was, I think, 24 years ago this year, the advances in the technology to enable you to look at the DNA in that level of detail, to look at different individuals' profiles, to then move that forward to sort of start to design treatments that can target that specifically. There's a huge amount of advancement that's happened over the last 20 years. So to say that we are on the right track, absolutely, but it's so important that we have more workforce working in these areas and very specifically on these areas if we're going to reach that that precision medicine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I can see, I don't know, Rebecca, I can see that there's lots of exciting things coming through the chat. There's been a few comments. Would it be useful?
Yeah, and there has been one from Alvin, which I think we've been in touch, Alvin, and I think Kieran might be able to answer some of this. It's about the research conducted with the MCRC and the Christie. If you can see the buildings behind me, Kieran used to work in the Oglesby Cancer Research Building to my left.
I still
right?
work.
No, but I thought you'd moved over to the new Patterson building.
Yeah, the one on the left. Yes. That's true. Yeah.
So I think they believe that these are MCRC buildings that the Division of Cancer Sciences at the University of Manchester work out of, as well as Christie colleagues that they rent out floors as well. And I believe there is a connecting corridor between the new Patterson building and the Christie, which is in fact behind the new Big Gold building. But Kieran, I was hoping you could help with that question. Regarding the opportunities to do research with the MCRC and the Christie on these courses.
So I mean, we do have lots of master's students who've continued their research journey as a PhD student. So we do have studentships available. Again, these are highly competitive studentships, but they're available. So they support you for doing research for 4 years. Again, it's you have got group leaders from Manchester Cancer Centre, the Christie Hospital, and CIUK Manchester Institute. So yeah, having done your masters, I think you are better equipped to do a PhD, because most PhD students have done masters. I think this course would be an exciting step towards realizing that dream. Yeah, and apart from, I mean, there are several other studentships available within the University of Manchester also, so which are eligible to apply, of course. Yeah.
I think one of the
Does that answer the question? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just going to add to that just a little bit, Kieran, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So one thing we tried really hard to do with this program is to represent the expertise that we have in Manchester, and particularly on what we almost call the cancer campus, because you're absolutely right. We have this new building which links together our colleagues from the Christie Hospital, which is one of the largest cancer hospitals in Europe and has the highest number of clinical trials running, alongside the researchers and alongside one of the UK's biggest funder as well, Cancer Research UK. So there's much integration between the research that goes on in Manchester, specifically from bench to bedside and back again. And that's a real ethos, and it's a real selling point of Manchester as a whole. And what we do on the programme is we try to bring as many of those voices and those expertise and those, those research prowess, if you like, to the teaching. So you can hear not just the people who are delivering the teaching and the units, but also we incorporate lots of expert opinion, lots of exemplars and case studies, and also some videoed discussions between different either clinicians and scientists to discuss, what is the most recent advance in their field, where is the field going, what are the challenges. So you can really hear, that really rich conversation that's happening, the cutting edge of research, really, and it's really important. The actual research element of the master's degree, if you were to come and sign up with us, there is the potential opportunity to come to Manchester to do the research element of that. That can be discussed, absolutely. And one of the beauties of coming through the programme is that you almost get to know each of the unit leads, their specialities, their areas, you can start to know what their specific type of research is, and you can have a relationship with some of those academics and those clinicians. So we can certainly facilitate conversations with that. So yeah, I think, if you're interested in learning about oncology, Manchester is a great place to do that. The other thing I was going to say as well is because of the format of the programme, and this is how we do it with transnational education in the university, because it's online and because it's part-time study, you can learn alongside your day job, and you can upskill alongside your day job, and you can integrate what your learning is directly into your current practice, whether that's in clinic or in research. So it's a really effective way of continuing your learning journey, but also updating your practice at the same time. Rebecca, does that answer?
Yeah,
have we given enough detail, do you think?
I do.
Please continue to ask questions otherwise.
Yeah, I completely, yeah. So CR UK also have a floor as well, don't they, in the new building? I forgot them out there. But there was a question, and this is probably to do with ethics clauses. And this is again from Alvin, one of the problems in doing some research, especially NI, is patient data. Patient data. How do students get access and handle those if they wanted to do research in this field? So I imagine that's to do with clinical trials and access, but Suze?
So I would probably say that this is a question that's more specific to a research project that's extended. So something like a PhD, as Kieran was saying. We work directly with clinicians, and we work directly with the Christie Hospital in a lot of the research projects. So in that way, access to patient data is done in a very ethical way, but it's obviously very carefully controlled. But during those research projects, you can have the opportunity to mine actual data. As Kieran said, the increase in technology, what that essentially means is that you end up with so much big data. So whichever omics you want to refer that to, and with the best will in the world, no single researcher can mine all of that data for their one research question that they're trying to answer, which means there's a wealth of information and a wealth of patient data that has already been collected and is stored in a repository, which is available for ongoing and alternative projects moving forward. So there's always plenty of work to be done. Kieran, I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
I agree with you completely. I mean, so the ethics part is always the group leader of that particular project has got the ethics. So if you join that particular lab or a group, you automatically will have access to all the patient data. And then, of course, you need to take some courses on how to handle this. And so, yeah, the privacy concerns. So you need to be aware of all those things. But yeah, access is not a problem because it has gone through the approvals. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's robustly anonymized. Trace anything back to an individual. That's important to say as well. Is there anything else that's coming through the chat?
There was just one about if they've already got a radiotherapy experience, would they be able to substitute that course in the Transformative Oncology program for a different element, as for example AI? So if they've applied and got is it learning credits, and would they be able to choose a different option, a different unit?
Right. Okay. So that would be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. So I would 100% recommend that you come through Rebecca for that. Any specific inquiries, you can come through to me and we can discuss that, absolutely. There are ways of using prior learning to come across to the programme, but it's very much on a case-to-case basis. I would also say as well that we do seek to bring in experiential learning as a sort of entry requirement. So although we have degree levels, etc., it's all on the website for you to go and have a look. We do take into account any experience of working in the field as part of that prior experience. So it's worth having a conversation through Rebecca on your case and your background and what your CV contains to make sure that you've got the eligibility to apply. We can support you with that.
Thank you, Suze. And we've got a few other questions about finance opportunities, and Phoebe has been wonderful and put up the links to the pages there where you can find some further information, specifically on you can go to your country and look to see what is available. Thanks very much, Phoebe. So any more questions, people? You can put them on the chat or raise your hand and we can let you talk. Or would you like me to round up with my final few slides, Suze?
I think there's one thing that we could probably talk about is like how are we supporting our students towards closing the cancer care gap. So I mean, I can talk about only precision oncology because that's what I've been working on for a few years. So I mean, the precision oncology approaches is entirely dependent on discovery science, right? So you're doing lots of discovery sciences. Most of it is happening in the labs, in research labs. So and then most of this work is done on people of European ancestry, or people who live in urban areas, closer to these big research centers. So that means that the fruits of precision oncology is not reaching all, especially people who live in rural communities, or people who are in low income backgrounds. So and one would argue that precision oncology is kind of exacerbating the healthcare disparities rather than closing the healthcare disparities. So what we can do to bridge the gap? I mean, so that's where precision public health initiatives come into picture. Yeah, and the students will learn about the value of precision public health, which is aimed at improving equity in healthcare. So what is precision public health? I mean, like, if in precision medicine, the unit of intervention is just a person, right? So you're trying to design treatment options for a particular person, whereas in public health, the unit of intervention is a population. It could be a population of a city, or it could be a population of ethnically diverse groups, or it could be a population of, let's say, smokers. So sometimes the question of precision public health sounds like it's an oxymoron, because it's a person or a population, but it is not an oxymoron. I mean, so both precision medicine and public health collects lots of data, right? So precision medicine collects lots of data about few individuals, whereas public health collects a small amount of data from lots and lots of individuals. So what precision public health does is basically it collects the data from both these sources and then helps in designing treatment options for whole populations. So I mean, that's where the big data and the AI and machine learning comes into picture, and you will learn about the value of these methods in this course. So again, a precision public health initiatives only works if you have got data from multiple diverse communities, and currently we don't have that. So to bridge the gap, we need to have data from people from rural communities, or people from ethnically diverse communities, or or people from people who have got clinical poor outcomes. So we have to generate data from these people, then only we can have better public health initiatives. So again, these all will be taught in the course, and then we will discuss the role of community engagement as well, because the better representation will only happen if you engage with those communities, and Sus will discuss more on that in this unit. So yeah, these are the aspects that students will be able to learn, and then maybe take these learnings in their professional lives.
Fantastic. No, absolutely true. And thank you for raising that point. Later diagnosis leads to cancer being detected at a more advanced stage, which can, severely limit the treatment options available to people. And often that later diagnosis comes because there are aspects of the population who don't come forward for treatment, who don't come forward for screening, who don't come forward for tests or to have symptoms checked. And we're doing a lot of work, particularly across Greater Manchester and beyond. There's a lot of emphasis on this. It's a disparity that was really brought into focus since COVID, actually. And we're doing lots of work with community groups and to look for ways to really engage with the individuals in the population that we're seeking to serve. And it's really, really important to make sure that all of those voices are heard. And actually, the way we approach it is to collect some of those lived experiences. Because by seeing somebody having gone through an experience with cancer treatment or what their journey is, by sharing that back with the population, it gives them more encouragement, and they're more likely to come forward for services. So there's lots of work that goes on in terms of community engagement. So it's a really important point. And actually, throughout the course, we sort of weave in quite a lot of these principles and philosophies, because it's something that we hold very highly in high regard here at the University of Manchester. So yeah, thank you for bringing that, Kiran, to the discussion today. I wanted to just say hello to George, who's in Nairobi. Hi, George. He's a pharmacist by profession and has a strong desire to pursue oncology, having seen how patients struggle with cancer, especially due to late diagnosis. Absolutely. He's asking about paid scholarships. We are working really hard to increase the number of scholarships available at the moment, and particularly to low and middle income countries, particularly to African countries. So I would urge you to go and check on the website. Again, Rebecca can help you with any schemes that are available at the moment. So please do get in touch.
I believe we are just pending some results for the Commonwealth scholarships. So when that information comes to light, if you ask, I will forward it on to you.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
There is another 2 questions, but for Kazuha, who's asking about the online learning and how they're conducted, we are running a session and you'll receive an invite from Study Online on Wednesday, the 27th of March, about online learning specifically. So we'll cover them. But is it Daligo, a quick one? What is the latest advancement in cancer treatment? That's a big question. Suze, Kieran?
I would say that's not a quick question. I'm probably going to suggest that actually we move towards, so in terms of, sorry, Kakuza, apologies, Jamil. So this is an online program, so you can join at any time of the day. In terms of the structure, and actually, Rebecca, maybe if we get the course structure slide available, we can just talk through the other units that are available in the program as well. Thank you for that. So yes, so there are lots of options in terms of the level that you want to complete. So you can do 4 units, which will give you a postgraduate certificate. If you complete 8 taught units, that's a postgraduate diploma. And if you complete the research element, that would give you the full MSc. They are delivered in an asynchronous way, so all of the content is recorded and available through our learning environment. It's a combination of talks, videos, active learning, there's quizzes, and there's additional reading, etc. So it's really varied, the different types of delivery for the education on each unit. And as I say, sometimes these are podcasts, and we refer you to, in particular, the 2-in-1 podcast, which has come out of Manchester in the last 2 years, which is a fantastic opportunity to hear some of the experts we've been talking about today, talking about their topics. So in the first year, you can learn all about the tumour and the challenges of heterogeneity in tumour biology. Cancer is an individualised disease, covers underlying genetic profiling and across populations and also globally. Established and experimental therapeutics, and then finally the branches of oncology. So we have our clinical experts talking about clinical, medical, and also surgical oncology in that unit. And then moving into the second year, we have the science of radiotherapy. And then, as you heard today, the strategies of early detection and the principles of personalised medicine. And then our final unit is all about delivering the best cancer care. And this final unit really pulls all the strands together that we've covered in the rest of the master's programme, and starts talking about the importance of hearing the patient's point of view and collecting that patient data and information, and really making sure that your practice is shaped in a way which puts the patient front and centre of that. And then in the final year, you can either continue your learning journey online by completing the research skills in practice module, or we can arrange for you to do a practice or a lab-based project, either in your current workplace, or in a small amount of cases, we can organise for that to happen here in Manchester. And that's a conversation that you can have with us as we move forwards. I don't know if there's any questions specifically on the structure, but if you wanted to find more information, I think we've got the next slide. Have we got the link to the...
Phoebe's just put it in the chat. Thank you, Phoebe.
Perfect.
But also, yeah, I think this is just the final slide before my Q&A.
Yes, so approximately we suggest that you should be allocating maybe 15 to 20 hours of study per week, but that encompasses all of the reading and any of the assessments and any of the videos and watching, and each of the video that we have is accompanied with the slides and also the transcript, so you can go back and visit that any time, and you can also download the audio of any of the videos that are presented in the units themselves. There are lots of different ways that you can access the actual learning materials. So as we say, we are now, enrolment is open for September 2024, which will be upon us in no time at all. We do have a 10% discount offer for NHS. Obviously, that's a UK-based offer. But yeah, if you are interested in any way and you want to learn more about the course, please go to the website. There's lots of little snippets, and there's also some testimonials from prior students on there. And any questions you can direct through Rebecca.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Phoebe. She put how to apply and everything on here. Wonderful.
Oh, she's brilliant.
I was just checking. Any more questions? But I'll go back through the chat, and if there is anything, I'll get in touch with you guys. But thank you very much for the panel joining us today.